What is your advice today for someone facing a major professional rejection or a hurdle right now?
I don't blame myself or put myself down.
So as the business grows, what are the most important things to keep in mind?
So self-reflection on a regular basis is important. So if I get an achievement, what is blocking me from owning it? What is blocking me from saying yes?
Talking about successes, right, Sonia? I have to be totally honest with you. So whatever little successes I've had, I get it too, and I know a lot of us out there get it, right? I've felt like a fraud many times.
Women have a tendency to take failures personally, like, yes, this is about me, and achievements you attribute it to luck.
Our guest is a woman who helps leaders move from self-judgment to absolute acceptance. She's a world-class speaker, a master of hypnotherapy, and a mentor to the best in the world. Please welcome the powerhouse behind All About You, Sonia Samtani. Hi, Sonia. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure, actually, to have you here. And Sonia, so for the few who don't know your story yet, can you tell us about yourself and how you built the wellness empire that is all about you today?
So I am a clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm also the founder and CEO of a wellness center called All About You. And we started the center officially in 2013. The crux of my work basically is to deal with people that are looking for evolution or resolution.
Wow, what is that?
So they're looking to resolve something. They're looking to resolve a pattern. They're looking to resolve a pain. They're looking to resolve a relationship issue or a fear or a phobia, or they're looking to evolve, like a sports player is looking to perform better.
Right.
Yeah, they already know the sport. So that's evolution. So we deal with these two. And we started when actually wellness was taboo in Hong Kong.
Oh.
So as a personal solopreneur, I've been in this industry for about 20 years.
Wow.
And I started where wellness, and especially the English-speaking wellness industry in Hong Kong, was hardly there. And I was the only person in the room talking about mental health and wellness. And so moving through that, I've seen Hong Kong go through so many different shifts and changes.
Yeah.
And now I have a center where I do training. I train people to become hypnotherapists.
Oh,
and we do private sessions in hypnotherapy as well as other alternative healing. So we have a tarot reader, we have an NLP coach, we have a somatic counselor, which is dealing with the body.
Right.
We have crystal healing, we have Batsi readings, and I also do self-development workshops.
Oh, wow. So you have a whole lot of things going on there. It's like a complete setup then.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's amazing. So just one question with that. You deal with either resolution or
evolution.
Evolution. So, okay, I'm looking at evolution. If it's someone like me, a business owner, a woman, a jewelry designer, having my own brand, what would evolution look like for me? I'm just curious.
So it would look like you deciding what your next step is. So what is your desired outcome? And that could be anything from wanting the next financial goal, or wanting to reach more people, or wanting to shift something about your business to pivot to the next level. And so we help you, A, define what that is, and secondly, put you in a mental frequency that's aligned with it. Because your belief systems are dictating your personal reality.
Right.
We are what we believe. So if I believe I'm a startup, I will be a startup. If I believe that I am now leading a multi-level business, I will step up to that level.
Yeah.
So then we start looking at the mindset of people and we help them to reach that desired outcome.
Okay, so you heard it, guys. This is very important. And I'm sure today when we talk to Sonia, we're going to get a lot of very useful tips here. So yeah, don't go anywhere. Keep listening. Okay, Sonia, that's really interesting. And I did research on you. So I know that you pioneered the English-speaking wellness space in Hong Kong, right? Long before it was trendy, like you just said. And for an aspiring wellpreneur, can we say that word?
Yes.
Wellness entrepreneur, because this is about business, this series. So for a aspiring wellness entrepreneur, wellpreneur who has a gift but is terrified to take that first step out of their comfort zone, or maybe just confused and lost and wanting to do it but cannot. What is the very first thing that they would need to know to start? What do you advise to such individuals out there?
Yeah, great question, because I train these individuals. So I train people to become therapists. And after they become therapists, they want to go out there and seek.
Right.
They want to either work for a center. So sometimes they work for my center, or they want to do their own thing. And a lot of them look at someone who's been in the industry for long, like myself or someone else, and say, hey, that's where I'd want to reach. And I advise them that this will take time. Because I have done the work, right? It's taken something. And so the first piece of advice is start small, start slow. Look at what you want to get out of it, and also be very practical. So if this is somebody for whom they are financially supporting themselves, and that's important, I would say, let's not quit your day job just yet, right? Let's create a plan for yourself, and we'll start with 5 clients a week. And move up from that, step by step, bit by bit. They have the gift. They would need to now be willing to go out there, put themselves out there, and be willing to do those seminars, be willing to give some sessions, taster sessions, not the whole thing, be willing to go out there to network, to speak, and then keep having a trajectory of what is the next goal and the next goal. So we're not jumping so much. That's the first one. Right?
You can't be thinking, I'll just immediately reach here, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so important to have that patience and that grit to keep going.
And in my industry, even more so, keep doing your own self-work. Because if you have a gift and you're terrified, that terrified feeling you can help resolve with therapy. And if you are a therapist, right? We need to keep being our own client. And I cannot stress that enough. Like, I've been in the industry for 20 years and I still do my sessions on myself as a client.
Wow. Is that a thing?
Absolutely.
Really?
That's
Wow.
integrity for me. Right? Like,
okay.
I'm as much a client as I am a therapist. So I've been
that's very
seeing people every
interesting.
day for 20 years and I
Right.
still get my own sessions done.
That's really interesting to know. But then, okay, so someone gets started, but starting is one thing, right? Staying in it is another, the long run. So as the business grows, let's say this individual has started, taken your advice, done their own thing, and their business is growing. So as the business grows, what are the most important things to keep in mind in your field, right? To ensure that you don't lose your essence, you stay relevant in an increasingly crowded space. I think one is that you already have mentioned in your previous answer, like just making sure you give therapy to yourself. That's what I've taken. And what else can they do to keep growing in this space?
Yeah, keep evolving yourself, right? Because your goal and who you are when you first start will be different to who you are 2 years later. Will be different to who you are. So self-reflection on a regular basis is important. And I lead 2 specific workshops every year. One is the end of year, consciously closing the year. So when you consciously close the year, you self-reflect on what has the year been like? What are the lessons that I've taken? What's worked the way that I thought it would? What didn't? And why didn't it? That's even more important than the what. The why could be, perhaps I didn't account for the changes in the market because I assumed things will be the same. Well, it's not. Life shows us that all the time. Maybe the why is that there was a limiting belief that I didn't even know about, that I thought that this is how much money I can make and I don't deserve more. And it was an unconscious belief system that I had that was blocking me. So constant self-reviewing is so needed. And then we can continue to tweak our brand and know what your personal values are. Yeah, the essence of the personal values don't change. Like for me, one of the big ones is safety. Safety for myself and safety for my clients. You know, and if someone does not feel safe, they're not going to be able to open up. They're not going to be able to reveal. And they're not going to be able to meet those parts of themselves that they were hiding or rejecting or judging. So keep true to your self-values and then keep reviewing and see what needs tweaking, understand the whys, and then it's all about evolution.
Okay, we review our year at the end of the year. The first part is that, of course, you understand, right? And that's a very important step itself. But what about the second step? How do we encourage ourselves to, do what is needed. Because sometimes you look at it, you think about it, you know what you should do, you know what you shouldn't do, and all that is just there. And it gets stuck there. Not necessarily because you don't know it, not necessarily because you don't know what you should do, but there is this thing that holds you back, right? What advice do you have for people who, know it but cannot implement?
So that's
things?
a mental block, because action is the only way that something will happen, right? And if you're not taking action, it won't happen no matter how skilled you are, no matter how much you know what your dream is and what your goal is. And so if you're not taking action, especially if you're in my industry or if you're in any industry, then please understand the belief systems that are preventing you from taking action. And those belief systems are usually around self-limitation. Like, I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't deserve it. I'm scared of failure. I'm scared of what people might think of me. Am I doubting my skills? There is something happening within me, perhaps, that is preventing me, or even something maybe a little surface level at first, that I don't have that much time, or I don't have that much resources. Right?
Yeah. It's usually time and resources, I think, is the number one for most people out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So look at that and give yourself a realistic action plan. So what time and resources do you have? Where can you actually put things in your diary? Because if I know what to do, but I've not made space for it, it's not going to happen, right? We need to make space for it. And sometimes making space for it means not doing something else. Am I willing to give up that? Maybe it actually means not going to pick up your child from football. Right? Maybe it means
we have to make that
exactly. Then you make your choice without judging yourself, because you need to choose what you're going to do and then be true to your values. And self-blaming doesn't work. So make a choice, make an empowered choice, place it in your schedule, place it in your diary. And if there's anything that is mentally blocking, identify that belief system. And then please work on it.
Work on it, yeah. I think for a lot of us, it's about putting it in your schedule. Just put it, and if it's there, you do it, right? That's what I've changed over the years. Before, I would be like, I don't know if I can do it or if I can't do it. Let's see, I'll leave it and see. But nowadays, what I've started doing is there's always tens and thousands of things to be done. So if it's important, I just slot it in no matter what. I say, okay, I need to get this done today. I'm going to get it done. And most of the times, I think that brings me success. I get it done. So that's very important. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. Talking about successes, right, Sonia? I have to be totally honest with you. So whatever little successes I've had, even for me, like step by step, a little bit here, a little bit there. So started from here, I'm here now. But till today, there is this other thing, because you're in this space. So I wanted to talk about this, which I am sure a lot of our viewers would also feel, no matter what, big or small, this imposter syndrome. People think, oh, you're so confident, you just get things done. But I have to tell everyone, no, I get it too. And I know a lot of us out there get it, right? So I've felt like a fraud many times. Even when I know that I am not, I have given it my best and it's giving me results. And I still feel like, who am I to be saying this? Who am I to be doing this? Am I the, top expert to be saying this? And many women in Hong Kong or otherwise in the world, I know, feel the same way. So as the expert of the mind, you tell me, how do we actually overcome this syndrome? What advice do you have to women out there, especially women, I think, more than men, because since times immortal, we've always been said that women does not equate into this outside workspace. Right?
Yes. And women have a tendency to take failures personally, like, yes, this is about me, and achievements you attribute it to luck. Right? I was lucky this time, but if I failed, there's something up with me, right? And that again goes back to belief systems.
Okay.
So it goes back to identifying, so if I get an achievement, what is blocking me from owning it?
Right.
What is blocking me from saying, yes, I am competent enough, I am confident enough, I do deserve it. And most of our belief systems are actually set between the age of 0 and 8 years old. Like, our foundational years are so pivotal In fact, even before you could utter your first word, right? The pre-verbal stage,
Right.
you are absorbing things. So the family plays such an important role. You are absorbing your family's belief systems. And even without them saying it, like let's say a mom was taught conscious parenting, right? And she's telling her daughter, you're beautiful. Don't worry about being fat or thin. I think that you're beautiful. But the way she treats her own body is she doesn't love her body. So when she's put on weight, you can see that she's judging herself. The child is possibly going to pick up more from that non-verbal, even though mom is not saying it to the child. So when we're children, we pick up a lot. And I'm not blaming anybody here, definitely not blaming parents because they love
we
their
all
children.
do our best.
Exactly. But what the child picks up according to their interpretation, and children take things personally. We call this egocentric because we don't know how to separate ourselves from other people. So even if my parents are fighting, if I'm young, for example, a child will say, it's because of me. It's my fault. And because of that, we develop a lot of personal limiting beliefs.
Right.
Like, and it goes down to, I'm not safe. I'm not lovable. I'm not enough. I don't belong. Right. And these things continue in the background of our mind. And then on the outside, it shows up as imposter syndrome, whereas I get a result, but I can't even own it. On the inside, it's because I'm limiting myself due to these beliefs, which are actually very old. They're childhood beliefs.
But on this, one question comes to mind. Is it more of an Asian thing than the Western world? Or is it, do you think, like from your insights, is it all over? Because I feel like, you know, our Asian upbringing is more towards like, don't stand out, don't this, don't that. And sometimes I feel, is it because of our Asianness, if I may call it that, that we feel like, oh no, I'm not enough, or maybe I'm not the expert, maybe I shouldn't own this or that. Because I always feel like, you know, in the Western world, people look much more confident, seem to be doing so much more. Does it play into that?
You'll be surprised, right? A lot of that look confident is a coping mechanism.
Is it?
Yeah, a lot of it is actually my public face, my performance face. And imposter syndrome is all over. It's everywhere. But then does culture play a difference? Of course it does. Because culture gives you certain belief systems and rules, right? And let's say with the Asian culture, there is a difference between the role of men and women. Let's say women, even a couple of generations ago, we were supposed to be the caretakers and not the achievers.
Right, exactly.
Right? So that plays a role. And so now if a woman is an achiever, she'll feel guilty that she's not a caretaker. And where does that come from? A lot of them, yes, it comes from culture. So imposter is all over, but the type of belief systems can be cultural specific.
Right. Yeah. Right. So how does someone overcome that? And just I know it can be a whole thing on it, but the first thing to keep in mind.
So the first thing is actually self-awareness. If you can be aware of that belief, like I'm aware that I think I'm supposed to be a caretaker and I'm supposed to sacrifice and I'm not supposed to be an achiever. If I'm aware of that, that's step one. Step two is what would I like to do about it? And do I know where it comes from? So once I know what I'd like to do about it, I'd like to be free from it. So how would I like to feel instead? I'd like to feel as if I can achieve. I do deserve to achieve. So now I've identified my current belief system. I've identified my new belief system. And then you can work to release. How do we do that in therapy? Well, we do that through, a lot of times it's going back to the cause. Where did it start? Did I pick it up? Did I conclude it myself? Can I now release the emotional impact from my body? Because our nervous system carries this. So if you are having a belief that I'm supposed to be self-sacrificing and I'm supposed to be small, right? I can't be seen.
Right.
Sacrifice is actually not a healthy belief system, right? You can do the same thing by choice.
Right.
So if you're a mother who chooses not to work as a sacrifice or not to work as a choice, you're doing the same thing with a different feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Very different feeling.
Yeah, that's very powerful.
So
you
release that.
So you should release it and choose to do it as a choice rather than thinking, oh, I'm sacrificing this, that. Then that's again another limiting belief.
So if you want to do it, make it a choice. And then you release the impact from the body. You reframe that event. So let's say I learned to be a caretaker because I observed my mother. Now I can observe my mother and make a different interpretation of this is what she's doing to achieve her role, and I have the right to live my life according to my values. And then you can pivot towards the kind of life that you would love to live. Something along those lines.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think this is a real gold nugget out here that we just discussed about, right? So Sonia, I am in awe that you were a senior mentor with Tony Robbins' business, right? But I'm sure with even all those successes, even at that level, you yourself might also have faced some doubt, correct? We are all human beings.
Absolutely.
And can you share a specific time where you felt that your business might not take off, or you felt that you were struggling, or there were some things that was holding you? So how did you overcome it? What is your advice today for someone facing a major professional rejection or a hurdle right now?
Yeah. So I would say firstly, we can't ever be fearless or doubtless. And so when I face fears and doubts, I don't blame myself or put myself down, because I know that it's going to happen to me and it happens to everyone.
Right.
And when I worked for Tony Robbins, as you said, at that time I was in my early 20s, and I think I was very idealistic in life.
Right.
And I thought, I'm going to go in this environment, and after that, everything's going to be great, and there'd be no voice of criticism, no voice of fear. And I realized very quickly, no matter which organization you go to, okay, whether it's religious or it's spiritual or it's motivational, it's going to be there. It's there in my organization. It's there in me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So to more directly answer, yeah, of course I faced times, and even let's say post-COVID, which is quite recent, there was a shift in the market where people would attend my workshops by me not even telling them the name of the workshop in the past. I would just say, I was thinking about doing something in this topic, and I would get a full house. And then I was promoting, and I wouldn't fill the seats for a while.
Right.
And so I canceled more workshops than ever just post-COVID when things opened up.
Right.
So at that point, my mind was also going into, okay, where do I take this?
Yeah.
The thing that I always had is I separate myself from my business. So who I am is I've got a mission to spread awareness, to take people into alignment, acceptance, power, to move from judgment into that space. So whether I do it at All About You, or I do it at someone else's center, or I go and I open something new or something different, I'm going to take me with me.
Right.
So actually, if All About You didn't work or had a date where it completed, I went there in my mind and I was like, okay, so if this were to finish, I'm still going to be me, and I'm going to take me and this work is not going to end. That I know. I've got a lot of faith that this work is not going to end.
Right.
And then what I did end up doing is look at the changes and what's needed. So what's needed was, okay, people are looking at their time more than before. And they had more time, now they have less. So I shortened the workshops.
Right.
People are looking for different content. So I tweaked that. So I think it's about being more current, looking at what's needed,
Right.
and knowing that everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if you're doing something that you're really passionate about, I don't think that ever ends.
Right.
The way that it looks could end, but that piece never ends.
Yeah.
That was for me.
So from this, what I get is that success is not something that you can take for granted, right? You can be successful today, tomorrow. And success, by saying success, I mean like what you see. Tomorrow it may be there. Again, the after tomorrow it might not be there.
Yeah.
But the one who gets long-term success is the one who can look at and analyze the situation today, pivot if needed, like all the things that you did, and be able to make the changes needed, because times change. We have to, while we still stay the same, our expertise stays the same, our passion stays the same. But what you did was you changed how you did it. Was it that? Like
Yes,
what you
yes.
what
How
you
I
were
delivered
offering,
it.
how you
Yeah.
delivered,
Yeah.
and things like that. And then again you got that success back.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I'm building again.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so you see so many different stages, right? You look
Right.
at the trends, and then you go into building, and then you plateau.
Yeah.
And then you go into like another climbing uphill and then you
Yeah.
plateau. I
Yeah,
think
that's true. Life is never, if life was always like one straight line, what fun would it be?
Exactly, yeah.
Right. And building something has its challenges. It comes with all the ups and the downs. So being an entrepreneur or starting your own thing, whatever it is, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of grit. And also we start with this feeling that, okay, whatever comes, I am going to handle it. Sometimes maybe bright, sometimes it might be dark, but then we still need to keep going, right? So that's a great lesson to be learned from what you just shared post-COVID, like that moment in time when you had to do whatever it took. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sonia.
So, Kajal, on that note, I would be so interested to learn more about you and with your jewelry and with your business. What was that purpose and that inspiration that had you started and that can keep you going as well through the ups and downs that can and will occur?
So for this question, immediately I'm just thinking, it actually goes really back. Like when you said about the imposter syndrome, it starts when we are, did you say 0 to 8 years? I think so, right? I remember.
Yes.
I've been listening to you. So I think this drive, this passion that I have was also built during my childhood days. And it is not just that I did not grow up thinking I'll be a jewelry designer, but I grew up thinking I want to do something. I want to make something of my life. I want to do something and I want to do it really well. So that was instilled in me when I was growing up. And I think it's my mom. I always think, because whenever I think of my childhood and why I am like this, I think it's my mom. She used to raise me telling me stories about women, about, Florence Nightingale. Before I learned about her in school, bedtime stories sometimes used to be like stories about Indira Gandhi from India.
Okay.
Stories about Madame Curie. All these stories I heard from my mom first. I did not read it first.
Okay.
And it was very, I think she just wanted to kind of empower me, even as a child, by telling me these stories, not saying that you should be like this or that, but she just told me these stories. And I think everything like this, it just stayed with me. So today I'm a jewelry designer. Yesterday I was a dentist. But whatever I was, I always thought, oh, I want to do my work really well. I want to, like when I was a dentist, I thought I really need to get my job done well. I want to make sure my customers, my patients who come to me, they should leave with the best smile or with the best job, the best treatment to the best of my ability. And today I'm a jewelry designer. The passion to create, that's another thing. I love creating. And then when I had to pivot my profession, I thought, let me do something that helps me, that allows me to create. I'm a creator by heart.
Yeah. So I can feel that as you're saying it.
Is it?
Yeah, I can feel the passion of the creator.
Thank you. Yeah. So I really wanted to create and I got into jewelry. But I think more than saying, oh, because I wanted to create through your answer, which is also true. But I think it is because I just cannot see myself not doing anything. And if I commit to something, and this is something I love, the passion has just been there since I was born, I think so.
Yeah.
So does that sound?
Yes, you've got a high standard, firstly. Like, I'll do things well.
Yeah.
And I think both the things that you do will make people smile.
Exactly.
So this is about a woman going away with that smile and with that happiness.
Exactly.
So, Kajal, we've spoken about passion and values, right? And having both together is so important. And integrity is such a big value for me, and I'm sure it is for you as well. So in your business, and especially in jewelry where, sourcing can be a minefield and ethics can be questionable, how do you ensure that your business maintains that ethics and that integrity?
Yeah, that's such a powerful question, Sonia, because actually in the jewelry business, I feel the soul of the jewelry is not just the diamond or the gold or all these precious gemstones, right? It's in the environment in which it was created. So we as human beings, we have to be responsible human beings, right? And that's the thing, that this ethics and transparency, that all starts with the source. I think it starts with the source. Luckily, I'm in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is a global hub for pearls, for gemstones, lot of supplies, and everything comes here, goes from here. And so I have a very unique advantage of working directly with the farms where, like, if it is cultured, with the people bringing it from the mines, if it was brought from there, or, the cutting goes into India for diamonds and things like that. So basically, I think it eliminates a lot of middlemen being here.
Yeah.
And that also allows me to handpick who I work with from a wide number of people, and I can vet the people I want to work with, right? It allows me to handpick each stone, each pearl that goes into my jewelry, so that I can ensure that it's not just the best in the quality, the best quality, the best price, but I know exactly where it's coming from and what hands it has passed on before they have reached mine. Because a lot of times when you are in some other countries, which is not as fortunate as Hong Kong, it goes through a lot of different channels before it reaches the jeweler there.
Yeah.
So luckily I'm here, and that allows me to consciously go through all these processes. And I try my best to make sure that, we are all ethically aligned, sustainability and all these things as well.
Okay. That's so interesting because, if you're not in this industry, you don't even think about it. Like how many hands and
Does
how
it cost?
authentic. Yeah, how authentic is the final product?
Exactly.
What does it take? Right?
Exactly.
So do you have your own process on how you choose who you would like to work with in that?
Yes.
And everything you've shared?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. When I started earlier as a very fresh entry into the jewelry profession, what I started with and which I still continue to date. And that was not something that anyone told me that I should do or anyone taught it to me, but it just started something that I thought I should do it. And I think later I realized now that that was something really good, to answer your question. So for example, when I decided, okay, I'm going to be a jeweler now, I want to build a collection. And of course, I have to work with diamonds or pearls or colored gemstones and all these things. So I took the time to travel to different countries to see where it comes from. How does it come? Like I went to Sri Lanka, I went to Myanmar, I went to Thailand, I went to Japan. I went to different countries where it comes from to go to the source, checked it out, made sure like, okay, this is how the process is, it comes. And then the second stage is getting in contact with your source, right? Because sometimes you can buy directly from the farm. Sometimes you cannot. Sometimes you have to, or the mine. Sometimes you have to go through the person, but it's still right from the horse's mouth when I go like this. And then I went and I visited each country and dealers, suppliers, everyone, so that I could see for my own eyes that, it's not some shady business doing something and then shipping, because it's so easy to do that these days.
Okay.
So that's regarding my suppliers and stuff, but also in manufacturing. Okay. So for manufacturing, what I thought was that, okay, let me look at various places and see where I can get the best in terms of, the technically great pieces. But also, I wanted to make sure that the people that are making it, they are treated well. Is it a big establishment? Is it a small establishment? Who do I work with? And there are different techniques, and not necessarily one workshop does everything. So I visited different countries, different workshops, big and small. And so that's been a process. But of course, once you have a relationship and you start working with someone, you don't need to go all the time, right?
You've done your due diligence.
Yes.
How long did that take you to do the initial research of going here and
I think for about 2 years, and that was when I was in Singapore. I started looking at it in Singapore, and then we moved to, I did not know I was going to move to Hong Kong, but we did, and it continued on to Hong Kong. And then in 2018, I set up my brand.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And really nice to hear the journey of what it took. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And so it was a process, and that's how it started. Very exciting. Until today, it excites me. But at the same time, there are so many other things that have come in, right? You start your own business.
Of course. How many hats? You don't even know.
Exactly. And so now there's something that I wanted to know from you, like talk to you today. So you teach people to move from judgment to acceptance. So how can a high achiever or a new founder stop judging their slow progress? Because it is slow. I said 2 years and it's actually very fast. 2 years is fast, but it is still slow for someone who is doing it, right? So how do we stop judging our slow progress so that we don't burn out before we reach our goal?
Yes.
Right.
I mean, the word slow itself is a judgment, right? And sometimes we don't realize that we're being extreme. So we're going either idealistic or pessimistic. So idealistic is like, I can get all of this done in a year. And pessimistic is, no, it's going to take really long and I'll never get it done. So it's actually finding the balance and what is realistic. And in that way, I often debunk this notion of positive thinking because it's actually not possible to positively think all the time. It's
Right.
not. In the mind, it's not. And there's been research done on this, right? People have gone on to even the people that have said that they've written books on positive thinking. They have said mantras to themselves every day for months and years. And the inner critic still doesn't go. So you would need to understand to set a realistic goal for yourself.
Right.
So to actually know that, is this actually slow? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's realistic. Am I making space for things to come up that are ad hoc that I didn't expect? Am I making space for that? That's basically setting yourself a realistic scene and scenario. And then research is part of it. And looking at the different hats the entrepreneurs play are part of it. So did you account for the times that you will be looking at the Excel sheets? Did you account for the times that you'll be doing the HR role? Did you account for the times you'll be doing all of these other things?
Definitely
Right?
not. As an artist, I was like, oh, I'm going to create. And then came all these things. And then you feel so burdened at some point. And I went through that as well.
So if you're really looking at it, it's not slow progress. It's just that we didn't know. And whatever we don't know, we are naturally ignorant about. And then that's not a time to judge ourselves. It's actually not even slow. It is that I'm now understanding things that I didn't know, and that takes time.
Right.
And can I be at peace with that? Can I be at peace with the time it takes? And burnout happens quite often when we can set ourselves sometimes these unrealistic goals, or we don't have space in our lives for it, or we push ourselves without listening to our bodies and think that if I'm not achieving, therefore I'm not good enough and I reject myself.
Right.
So we really need to have all of these things in our mind and just keep reflecting. It's not about being perfect because that doesn't exist.
Right.
Keep reflecting on ourselves over and over.
Yeah, I think this question comes to a lot of us, especially even like I'm in different groups and different organizations or just even like jewelers group and things like that. And especially with someone who's coming in new, I always see this question come up a lot. And I think for those who are all by themselves and trying to do things as a solopreneur or not fortunate enough to be with, peer support groups, also what you just said here might be very, very useful. So Sonia, I have this other question, which is quite personal. So
I like that.
Yeah, I know that you've started as an image consultant, and it is still such a big part of everything that you do, right? Image, wellness, and everything comes together. So today I quite randomly, I should say, because I just decided before we sat, and I chose this statement piece, which is very close to my heart. And I wore it. Does this go well with what I'm doing right now, or does it distract from what we are trying to do? What do you think? What I'm wearing
Firstly,
today?
I've been admiring that. It is a gorgeous piece. And I would say you're wearing it beautifully. And I can give you a few reasons why. Firstly, with statement pieces, we need to check, is the piece wearing me or am I wearing it? Right? And if the piece is wearing you, it can talk louder than you. And here's a few ways where you can wear the piece. Well, aesthetically, I think what you're doing beautifully is the power of 3. So if you're wearing a color, you're repeating it 3 times.
Right.
You've got it here, you've got it here, and you've got it on your lips.
Right.
So that's leading my eyes on a journey where now I am not stopped. I'm actually landing on your face, I'm landing on your eyes, and it's going very nicely.
Oh, wow.
And even with the cut, like you've got a pendant and you've got a V-neck.
Yeah.
And so the placement of it is beautiful. So all of that aesthetically.
Oh, wow.
And then it's the inner confidence.
Right.
Right? So in order to wear something, you need to be louder, but not in terms of volume. Just in
Right.
terms of owning it, that this is who I am, this is what I'm wearing, and what I'm wearing is aligned with me. So can I use the same words to describe my character as I can the piece? Like, let's say if my character is creative, the piece is creative. If my character is loving, so the piece has some curved lines that could be loving. So there's alignment there, and you wear it with more confidence.
Wow, you put it so beautifully. You have a way with words, like exactly. Well, I guess as a designer, right? I'm not a stylist, but as a designer, I just keep some things in mind when I'm choosing my pieces. And although honestly, it was like really last minute, but I guess the things that you said was on my mind when you kind of choose what to wear, but I had not thought it like how you placed it right now.
So
Thank you.
non-technically, you were doing all the stuff.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
And you wear it in a certain way, which
Exactly.
actually brings me to ask you something.
Oh.
So when women are wearing your pieces, how would you like them to feel? And what's the message that you would like to give to them?
So with KN, I always think it starts first with the emotions and then it's the value of the piece itself. I'm doing fine jewelry. So of course it's gold, it's diamonds, it's pearls, and it's colored gemstones, which are all precious. So it has an inherent monetary value to it, which I think makes people feel good because they have something that they feel there's a safety factor psychologically when you own something valuable, right? But at the same time, I think it's not just the accessory, it's not just the money thing. When I'm wearing something, when you're wearing Kian, that's, I hope it makes you feel, when you feel it against your skin, or as I'm talking to you, I catch a glimpse of it on my fingers or on my wrist. It should act as a visual anchor that says, like, it should be a mirror of how you feel and give you that strength. It says, oh, for me, it's like, oh, I've overcome these challenges. This is something that I made when I, for myself, when I celebrated me being a designer. So it's, it reminds me of this something beautiful, that moment that should be celebrated, and it empowers me in some way. So when women come to me, usually it's always either just because they have some extra money sitting around, or it's because they want to mark some things and say that, hey, I want this for my birthday, for my anniversary, or something like that. I had a child, or I want to make something for my child, right? So everything there should be a balance of what you've spent and how it's making you feel. So that's KM for me. And on that note of celebration, Sonia, thank you very much for being here and sharing your wisdom. I had such a wonderful time. I don't know how time has gone speaking to you.
Absolutely. Same here. And I'm so inspired by what you're putting together, by your transition from dentistry to this, and everything that you brought out in this interview. So may it inspire me and all the others that are watching it, and all the founders that are thinking to start something as per their passion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So to all the women out there leading their lives with heart and soul, know that you're not alone. You are exactly where you need to be. Cheers.
Cheers.